You're listening to That Great Manc Pod, Greater Manchester's community podcast. Top one, our kid.
Hi, this is Damien Carr, co-host of That Great Manc Pod, welcoming you to episode 2. In this episode, me and Paul talk to Tony Collier, Provost of Altrincham, about his love of the town, being involved in the regeneration of Alter, campaigning on improving men's health, and talking frankly about his own challenges with cancer and mental health. We also have a heartwarming song written especially for the Manc Spirit Our Trafford Festival by local singer-songwriter Scott Lloyd. And I'm sure that somewhere along the way Paul's obsession with the Spice Girls will surface and take us off track. Not for the first or last time, I'm sure. Over to you, Paul.
Can you just basically do a who you are, what you're about, just really summed up, and just end it with who your favourite Spice Girl is? So who you are, what you're about, and who your favourite Spice Girl is. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'm Tony Collier. I'm the current Provost of Altrincham. My big issue is about raising awareness of men's health issues. And my favourite Spice Girl would be Emma.
It always is. It always is.
I've said it all, Tony. We're not going to ask any further.
Listen, thanks very much for this, mate. I've been wanting to talk to you for a fair while. I know you spoke to Damo a few times, and I think we've both done a little bit of whinging online about various things, which is, you know, the way it is at the moment. But
certainly is.
Yeah. How are you at the moment?
I'm actually pretty well. Thankfully, my cancer is stable. It's been stable for 3 years. It won't stay that way. But while it stays stable, I want to carry on living life. And at the moment, obviously, COVID is stopping us from living a normal life. Yeah. And just this morning, found out that my 7-year-old grandson's been sent home from school because someone in his bubble's been tested positive for COVID, which obviously means we can't see them because he's got to isolate for 2 weeks. And, you know, it's awful. I mean, what's happening in the world is really, really strange at the moment.
I mean, we're seeing the impact in so many places. I mean, seeing it at home because, you know, I've got 3 kids. Yeah. My eldest was started at MMU, funnily enough, in September, did 1 day. And then he's been stuck at home. So he's like, this uni's dead easy. You know, I mean, he's spending more time in his bedroom now than what he was before.
Yeah, that's awful.
And the kids, I mean, luckily, so far, no one's caught it. My kids go to Altrincham ACA. Yeah. And nobody's caught anything there. But, you know, looks like we're in tier 3. Yeah. As of today. Does. So we can only control what we can control.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely right. I think Andy will fight our corner, which is as much as we can hope for. Yeah. But I think, you know, things like closing gyms seems to me to be counterproductive because we all know that exercise is vital for our physical and mental well-being. And, you know, it's my big ticket as well. Yeah. Something I'm incredibly passionate about. And I'm involved as a patient representative for the Prehab for Cancer thing in Greater Manchester, which is basically giving cancer patients prehabilitation before they start surgery or chemo or whatever. And it's all gym-based, all tied up with Greater Manchester Leisure Trust. And, of course, because the gyms are going to close, that means that'll have to go back online. And, you know, like you were saying earlier, face-to-face is always much better than doing something via Zoom or so, it's going to have a massive knock-on effect on people's physical and mental well-being. And I think at the moment, one of the big things that's coming out of COVID is our mental well-being is being severely damaged. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to, I mean, you know, fighting a losing battle. But I mean, I think all this, everything that's going on, it's a mental health issue. It's not an economic issue that's going to impact on mental health. Yeah. Shutting hospitality is a mental health issue that will impact, you know, economically, because, you know, if people can't meet up and have a chat, have a whinge, have a cup of coffee, have a cry, and I'm not talking about the restaurants in Manchester. I mean, they'll, you know, and I don't think people have got an awful lot of, I don't think a lot of people could care less, to be honest. I'm talking about the community pubs, the cafes, the places that are proper lifelines to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And for a lot of them, it's the only conversation they're getting, and the only human contact they're getting. And the fact that they might be having a couple of pints, well, so what?
Yeah, I think it's really sad. I spent a week in Scotland last week, and we stayed in a B&B. We had cake and coffee in cafes. We ate out in the evening in restaurants and pubs, and everything was done so superbly, so COVID compliantly. We felt incredibly secure and safe, and yet they can't now serve food after 6 o'clock. And on Friday, we had to cancel a restaurant reservation for after 6 o'clock and eat at the hotel, because the hotel was the only place we could actually get a meal, and unless we did takeaway. Yeah. And you couldn't get a beer with the meal. It just seems to me to be absolutely bizarre.
Do you know what the thing that kind of cheers me up a little bit is, like, we'll be moved into tier 3 today. So, yeah. and it looks like Wetherspoons can stay open because they serve food a lot, but you'll have all these places now, all these pubs saying, well, yeah, we serve food as well, don't we? So there'll be all these little plans being hatched.
Yeah, a bag of crisps is food.
Yeah, a bag of
Well, it's like, that's the same as back in the day, wasn't it? When they all had a metre by metre dance floor because they could stay open till sort of 2 in the morning if they had a dance floor and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, Tony, I know it's a while back since we met.
Yeah.
And you are a great inspiration to me, absolutely, mate. And thank you for doing this interview and everything you do as well. But it was like Paul's just said about the meeting up thing. I know we first met when it was about 5K your way.
Your way, yeah.
And I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but the premise of that is it's people that are either struggling with or getting beyond cancer, and it's a way that you could meet in a park, chat, take your own time, whichever way you wanted. But again, it was that close connection, wasn't it, that you could actually have conversations with people as you're doing a run, as you're doing a walk. Is that right?
Well, the most important thing about 5K Your Way was trying to break the social isolation problems of people living with cancer. And obviously you could go and do the 5K their own way, which meant most of them walked it, which was lovely. So we walk and chat for an hour while we do the 5K. But then the most important part is we go to the local cafe in Wilmslow, and we sit and chat. And last time we had 5K Your Way back in February, we had 5 tables in the cafe of sort of 4 to 5 people, and we all sat and compared notes and supported each other. And it's wonderful because, virtually all the people in the group of people involved in the cancer movement, or they're living with and beyond cancer. And it's wonderful just to sit and chat and share our worries and share our concerns and cheer each other up. And I know many people who've been involved with 5K Your Way have said it's been a salvation for them. And so it's tragic that we can't operate at the moment because it's linked to Park Run, and Park Run's been closed down since March. I was thinking of reopening in October, but now it's been put back, and I can't see it restarting for another 6 months given the current climate we're in, which is tragic. We're trying to keep connected though. And I must do a bit more on this, but we had a virtual coffee morning. So all the people that were involved with 5K Your Way, we met on Zoom and did a coffee morning, and it was great, And I asked each of them to tell everybody how they were coping, what they were doing in lockdown. And one of the guys had written a song, and he's learned how to play ukulele. So he did a live song on his ukulele, the song him and his wife had written and performed. It was wonderful. So I think the biggest thing in the lockdown was actually staying connected as much as possible, and we worked really hard on doing that, both with family and with friends, but also particularly with the 5K Your Way, as it was really important to stay connected.
Yeah, I mean, it's in fact it's exactly the same as what we do with the charity, except it's around arts, creativity, and stuff, and we don't get, me and Paul, and I know you as well to a certain extent, but you don't put people together because they've got a problem. You put people gather around something that inspires them, so it could be playing the guitar, it could be, I don't know, it could be board games, it could be, I don't care what it is that brings them people together. Yeah. But then while they're there, like you say, you meet up and you share coping strategies and you support people, but it's also you're outside that family bubble, you're not, because I think a lot of it is, and what we're trying to do moving forward is involve more of the families with the individual as well in the creative activity. Because I mean, your whole family are on the journey with you, aren't they?
Absolutely, and I think that's another great thing about 5K Your Way. Not only does the patient come along, but the spouse partner comes along, and it's helped them as well, because they've had someone else to talk about their partner's illness. And so my wife comes along. We've got Claire O'Rourke, she's the Associate Director of Greater Manchester Cancer, and she comes along, but her husband's got cancer. So he comes along, and so it's wonderful to have people like that involved, but actually supporting the other half of a relationship where one of the people has got a serious illness is really important. And I think it's an area that gets really neglected. I get loads of support. My wife's been an absolute rock since my diagnosis in 2017. But it scares me to death about the level of support she gets. Who looks after her when she's feeling rubbish? It's just, and there isn't that level of support out there. So things like 5K Your Way, just to sit and have a coffee for an hour is unbelievable. It's just something that's really important.
The sessions that we've done, and I think we did some in some corporate settings, and I know Paul's he'd come in on those sessions, and he's not got the same background with me in the charity sector and stuff like that. And I think Paul was quite taken aback with the stories that people's relative strangers, we'd only met them to do the creative sessions, but through the creativity, the next thing, they just start telling you the whole life story, or spilling things out, or coming to you at the end of the session and saying, I've never told anybody that before. And you find that a lot of women will do it early on in the session, but the men will join in later, and it's great that the creativity, the getting together, that group activity actually gives people that safe space to do it. Tony, do you know what I mean?
It's really important. When I do my prostate cancer awareness talks, I very rarely get questions during the talk, but afterwards I can stand chatting for half an hour as individual people come up to me and say, what about this? What do I do about that? And so I can actually, a 3/4 of an hour awareness talk becomes an hour and a half awareness talk, because I chat with people afterwards and deal with their individual questions,
Well, we found that in COVID. We've never stopped doing everything that we can, whether it's getting hand cream to nurses, or we don't care. No. We want to know. We'd have spent every single penny in the charity account, which wasn't a lot, to be honest, but if it helps somebody else. And what's happened is, especially early on, nearly every sort of business meeting or meeting with, say, a commissioner or something like that has turned into a counselling session.
Yeah.
Because we've not gone demanding money or going with us, we need this, we need that. I've actually said to him, look, we're here to help. We care about you as a member of the council, as a member of staff. We care about you too. People forget that. Everyone looks at the end person, the beneficiary, the whatever phrase you want to call it, but they're taking on all the strains and the worries of everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So it's important to us as a charity that we support the staff, the support networks, and and everybody that's doing that, because in the end, they then don't burn out and you don't lose the best ones.
Yeah. It's always good to talk.
We're putting on this, the Manc Spirit Our Trafford Festival, which is a week tomorrow.
Woo!
We better start organising, Damien. And that's really starting to pick up. And, in terms of Alte, you were always our go-to person, to be honest, because of all the stuff that you do there. So can you tell us a bit about the Paint It Blue?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in May 2017, and I wasn't aware that I could have actually asked for a PSA blood test from the age of 50, and in fact, I had a right to it. And when I was diagnosed age 60, they told me I'd probably had it for 10 years so far. The cancer spread throughout my skeleton. So once prostate cancer escapes the prostate and usually into the bones, it's not curable. So I was told when I was 60 in 2017 that I might only have 2 years to live. And actually, I got angry. I got really, really angry, because if I'd known that I could have had a test at age 50, and if I'd gone to have a test from age 50 and done it every year, I could have had curative treatment, and I wouldn't be sat here with a shorter life expectancy as a result. So I've dedicated my life since my diagnosis, and once I'd settled down mentally, dedicated my life to raising awareness. And obviously, in November, we have the Movember movement, which is where all the men grow a moustache and raise awareness of men's health issues. And I was appointed the provost of Altrincham back in September 2019. And for provost, think mayor. We're not allowed to use the word mayor, but that's effectively what it looks like to the outside world. And I actually said I want to use that role. I don't want to use the role for personal glorification. I want to use the role for some good. So I said, what I want to do is, for 1 week of the year, I want to paint Altrincham blue. We've been painting Altrincham pink for breast cancer awareness for ages. But actually, what I didn't want to do, I didn't want it to be about me. I could have just said, let's do it about prostate cancer. I want it to be about men's health. So I've actually set it up to basically be about prostate and testicular cancer, which I know very little about, and also about men's mental health. And I'm working with Prostate Cancer UK, Mind, the mental health charity, and also with a small testicular cancer charity called Orchid. And I'm also working with Altrincham Town Centre's BID, Altrincham Unlimited. They're basically putting this together with me. They're basically funding part of it. And basically from the 2nd to the 7th of November, we're trying to persuade as many businesses in Altrincham to paint their buildings blue. Shop fronts, bars to do blue cocktails, cafes to do blue cakes. On Saturday the 7th of November, we're doing what we're calling a heritage stroke health walk, which is self-guided, COVID compliant, blah, 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 all the garbage because of COVID. And the heritage walk will take in some of the heritage sites of Altrincham. And sort of from a creative viewpoint, Altrincham is really famous for its music heritage. So one of the heritage sites I'm going to take people to actually really isn't a heritage site. It's the house that Paul Young used to live in on Hale Road. And Paul Young was the lead singer of Sad Cafe and Mike and the Mechanics. Yeah. So and nobody knows that he lived there. And there's a blue plaque on the wall that commemorates Paul's life. And I was a massive Sad Cafe fan. And then one of the places I'm taking the walk to is the bar called Mort Sabite in Altrincham. It's one of the subterranean bar, Belgian bar. And it's one of the few subterranean bars, but it used to be Altrincham Hospital's mortuary. And so what we're doing is we're on the walk, we've got a list of health facts, a list of heritage facts, and there's about 15 heritage sites that I'm taking the walk to. But what I'm trying to do is link in health facts to raise awareness. And one of the health facts might be, for example, one of the sections of the walk is 1,000 meters long, and that will signify the 1,000 men that die every month in the UK of prostate cancer. The whole walk is 2.6 miles, which signifies the 2,600 men diagnosed with testicular cancer every year. And then there are facts about mental health and the fact that suicide in the certain age groups has increased massively. And I think the big issue about suicide is one of my cousin's children has tried to commit suicide 6 times, and the local authorities say they can't support him because there's nothing wrong with him. Well, I'm sorry, but that's disgraceful. So I think it's really important to raise awareness of mental health. And what we're trying to do is basically signpost people to these charities for support if they have issues that come out of the health facts that I've raised during the walk.
So really, it's a really good idea. Really
it's
powerful.
Amazingly creative as well, and using that, the local history, the local heritage, folklore. It's an incredibly powerful theme, and inspiring to go along with what can be quite traumatic facts and figures, really, that you're sharing along the way.
Well, I mean, sorry, I was going to say testicular cancer is. I've had a couple of run-ins with that. And in fact, Damo and I were talking the other day. I think when you get to a certain age, there isn't anywhere you haven't been poked and prodded, and lost a friend to it a long time ago. And it's amazing that when you do speak about this to your mates, that your mate will go, "Oh yeah, I went for a checkup, and I went for a checkup," but you don't know because it's not something that you particularly talk about. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of raising awareness for that, and I know there's been a few campaigns over the years, but the more the merrier. I just like the idea when it's done in a creative way that'll stick a few smiles on people's faces, as well as
Yeah, I didn't want it to be serious about, this is a famous building that does that. I wanted it to be quite interesting and sort of family friendly. So I thought the idea of going to the old mortuary and telling the kids that you can often go down to that bar on a Thursday night and they tell ghost stories. It's quite spooky. I thought make it a bit of fun. And there's a little bit of heritage in there as well. And we go to like the town clock and the town hall. The town hall's going to be illuminated blue. Which would be great. And just a classic example, there's an optician's called Maskell's, and the owner, Anthony Josephson, has said he's going to put all these blue glasses in a frame in a window. He's going to illuminate all these other internal display units in blue, and he's going to donate 10% of every pair of blue glasses he sells in the week. He's going to donate that to the combined charities.
That's a great idea.
The Con Club in Altrincham are going to uplight all the front of their building in blue. And as it happens, the Con Club is also part of the Heritage Walk. You don't even know what the Con Club is, a restaurant. And it used to be the Altrincham Conservative Working Men's Club. And there's a misnomer, isn't it? Conservative Working Men's. But the interesting sort of fact that we're going to highlight is the fact that basically this is where the servants of the rich traders went when they were in the upper Conservative Club playing snooker. So their servants went to the Working Man's Conservative Club and had a pint while they were waiting for their masters. And it's like interesting little facts like that make it sort of amusing for kids, So yeah.
Are you Alty born and bred?
Born in Altrincham in 1957 and lived and worked here all my life. Yeah.
And how would you describe Altrincham to somebody who's doesn't know anything about it? How would you describe Alty?
It's won so many awards in recent years for being the best town to live in, the best town to visit. And back in 2010, it was described as a ghost town in the national press. And at the time, I was the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce. And it was obvious we needed to do something about this. And Altrincham Forward was set up, which is now the BID. And Altrincham Forward basically said, what do we need to do to revive Altrincham? And we sort of sat back and said, well, what is Altrincham? Well, Altrincham is a market town. It's famous for being a market town since 1290. And so let's revive it around the market. And the idea was that we'd do something akin to like Borough Market in London, which is very foodie orientated.
Yeah.
So Altrincham Forward put it out to tender. The current market operator came back with his idea of what the vision looked like. That matched pretty much what we were hoping. Trafford supported him with some soft money, and off it went. And it's been a massive, massive success, and it's been the catalyst for Altrincham's change.
Yeah.
We thought we've got to do something to future-proof that, though. So in 2013, we decided that we wanted to set planning policy by the people for the town centre. So I chaired the Altrincham Neighbourhood Business Plan for 4 years from commencement to fruition. And we actually set the planning policy for Altrincham Town Centre, which we think will future-proof the town. And what I would say about it now, it's an incredibly busy, vibrant, wonderful place to go and visit. It's become a tourist attraction for people from all over the Northwest. And I'm incredibly proud of the small part I played in its revival, but I'm actually incredibly proud of all the people who played a massive part in its revival. Some people who just don't get enough credit for what they do for the town. I was recognised by the Queen in the Birthday Honours last year with the award of the British Empire Medal, which was partly for the work I did in the town, but partly for the charity work I'd done before as a fundraiser and supporter. And I think I got recognition that other people deserved. There are so many people who contributed to the town centre's revival, and they all should be rightly proud of everything that they did. And I'm proud of the small part I played in it.
I'm from the other side of Manchester originally. I've been in Trafford for 16 years now. My three lads were born at Trafford General.
Yeah.
So I've seen Altrincham change, and you're right. There was virtually nothing there at one point. And the thing that really, really impressed me was it did seem like the community, the business community, and the people living there actually got together, sat round a table, had grown-up discussions, and came up with some really good ideas. And it has completely changed. It has completely changed, and a huge amount of work behind that. I can absolutely see that, but it wouldn't have happened without people like you driving that, mate. Don't ever.
No, Altrincham Forward was the catalyst, and Matt Collier, who was the then leader of Trafford Council, was behind setting that up. And that was actually, as you say, it was about 20 odd local businesses in different specialist areas came together and sat around the table. And, I was chair of the finance section for about a year. And we basically sat down and tried to work out what the hell we had to do to get Altrincham back on its feet. And it's been a roaring success. I think what happened is the market was the catalyst.
Yeah.
When you couldn't get in the market, there was nowhere else to go. So suddenly all these little restaurants and bars sprouted up around the market. Then the footfall increased. Then the independent traders came in, and then the footfall increased. Then the big traders came in. Yeah. And it's been a massive success. And interestingly, the footfall figures for Altrincham have increased every year for the last 3 or 4 years, which is remarkable because that bucks the trend nationwide. You might get a one-off increase in footfall, but Altrincham's footfall has increased every year for the last 3 or 4 years, and that's wonderful. It's remarkable. It's a lot of it is down to the bid. Altrincham Unlimited, who are working with me on painting Altrincham blue, because they put on events like the light parade and the Halloween trail and so on, which brings people into the town. They stay, they eat, they shop. Obviously, COVID's killing all that, but
Yeah, but Tony, it's another big theme of what Manc Spirit was set up about, and me and Paul had discussions with lots of people before we did, and we were sick of people saying, "Oh, Manchester's now grey, it's lost its identity, it's lost its flavour," and all. It's like, well, it's not just up to the council or Burnham or somebody else to do it. Get off your ass and do it yourself. The whole of Greater Manchester has got a massively rich seam of creativity, whether that's music, whether it's folklore, whether it's art. That we're supposed to have this revolutionary, slightly cheeky spirit, and we're trying to. That's what Manc Spirit is. It's saying to people, come on, grasp this opportunity, create your own. Not only look into your own narrative and the mental health and your own, benefit and your own creativity, but take that out into the community, into business, into all the other areas that make up Greater Manchester, and develop that regional and sort of collaborative narrative, and it's like you say, you've just done it this whole interview while I've been talking to you. You've mentioned folklore, you've mentioned local history, you've mentioned creativity. That's all culture, and people are forgetting that culture's there for the taking. Get on the internet and look it up. Go and have a look.
Look at the basis. Look at the basis of what has got Altrincham to where it is, and it is that market. And there's a lot of people that I've supported and know from Manc Made who are on that market, and it's selling art. It's all the really, really creative stuff that has helped to generate and turn a town around, and more people need to see that. And when you say, well, art doesn't really matter, you think, well, hang on a minute, look what it's physically done. It's got people into Altrincham, and it's the catalyst for, whether it's someone selling photographs. There's such a mixture of stuff on there. It is an amazing place to go to.
What I loved about it was when the market sort of got going, we wanted sort of craft and heritage, and that's where you are with the arts and crafts. But what we found was actually the little shops that opened were little vintage craft shops, little arts and craft shops. It very much, one of the drivers was art and craft. Which I think is wonderful. Yeah. Just one thing Damien mentioned there about people. And I think I've been asked the question, if you were trying to regenerate somewhere, what would you do? And the first thing I usually say is, don't go and employ outside consultants from London that are going to charge you £2,000 a day.
We're with you on that one, mate.
Yeah.
You have all the skills in your town or your city. And I think that I was actually asked to go and give a talk to Chester City about, and this was about 200 people from the Chester business community, about what they could learn from Altrincham. And I followed 2 professors and their MP. And I started off my bit by saying, flipping heck, this is a bit intimidating. Council estate scrote like me following 2 professors and an MP. And somebody said, actually, well, you've probably got a better moral upbringing than the MP. But actually, my big message was don't look outside your own city for what you need. You've got all the skills in your city, like we've got in Manchester, in Greater Manchester and Altrincham. People like you bringing skills to the city, to the people that you support is unbelievable. It's great. Do
you know what, mate? That pretty much sums up everything that we're about.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of talent out there. And I always say, if we don't support that talent, it'll go somewhere else. Or worse than that, we'll never get to see what that talent is.
Yeah, my big concern about the arts and music and all the industries at the moment is that they're just not getting the support they need. COVID is, I know loads of musicians, they can't perform. Live performance is what they're all about. That's where they earn the money. And they're just not getting any support at all. And I love music. We probably go to 25, 30 gigs a year, and we'll go to 3 or 4 festivals a year, and we've not been to live music since February. And I've got about £2,000 of the tickets sat in the cupboard upstairs waiting to be used next year, hopefully, But unfortunately, the poor artists, the independent artists, the people who put on the lighting, the people who are the backstage people, they're getting no work. How on earth are they surviving? And it's people like you helping and supporting them that is helping, keep the arts sector going.
Well, we're going to. We're going to release it later on. We were going to do it as part of the festival, but we've got a local lad called Scott Lloyd, who's written a song about the festival. Honestly, you'll love it.
Great.
Market towns. I mean, it's all in there. And how he's written, and he's written about Trafford. How he's done it, I don't know. And it put a massive, big, fat smile on our faces when we heard it.
Right.
But that's a lad who's from the northeast. Who's made Trafford his home, does a lot of stuff in the community, more so than most of the people who live and were born here. But yeah, he's just been sat. He's not been able to do anything. No live gigs. He's been trying to stream stuff, but that's not working for him. So hopefully, people will listen to this and they'll start looking at his other stuff that he's done. But yeah, music's a huge, huge part of everything. It's certainly in Manchester. It's at the heart of everything, really, isn't it?
The programmes that we're going to be doing over winter, in partnership with Trafford Housing Trust, Trafford Council, and that, mainly over 55s, people struggling because it's that thing. I keep using the phrase "they're not dead yet" because those people are full of stories, full of experience, full of talent, and we need to get out and encourage them and inspire them and get them involved in the local communities, but also for their own sake. But we're going to be using as many of the creatives, whether it's Scott, whether it's artists, actors, to deliver those sessional work, because where we can, and again, we're not a massive organisation, but where we can, we're going to try and get that money to them for them to continue being creative, but also to give something back to the communities.
Listen, mate, thank you so much for doing this. And when we can, me and Damo would love to take you out for a beer.
Sounds good. Look forward to that. Thanks very much for doing this as well. Really appreciate it.
And thank you for everything that you're doing, mate. And we genuinely mean that from the bottom of our heart. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. See you soon.
Cheers, mate. You take care.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Frank puts a smile on your face and Lowry paints the scene. Brown and Curtis sing the songs around the theatre of dreams. Rivers and canals with a beating heart, industry runs through the veins. The Bridgewater, Bollin, Irwell and Mersey are timepieces nature has reclaimed. The market towns of Trafford, in the mist of the morning air, are beginning to bustle with people coming and going somewhere. And I feel a sense of togetherness as I walk these once cobbled streets. This area means a lot to me, the community brings me peace. So come on, we're on the right track. We all stick together and we all know that a welcome smile and a brew behind every door. Come on, keep the dream alive. This place ain't my own, but it feels like home, 'cause we all help. Yeah, we all help to keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. And now this sense of community, everyone is doing their bit. You can smell it in the air round here, that wonderful Manc spirit. The songbird on the washing line is singing me his tune, and it feels like he is one of us on this warm, sunny afternoon. So come on, we're on the right track. We all stick together and we all know that. A welcome smile and a brew behind every door. Come on, keep the dream alive. This place ain't my own, but it feels like home, 'cause we all help. Yeah, we all help to keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. So come on, we're on the right track. We all stick together and we all know that. A welcome smile and a brew behind every door. Come on, they're buzzing in the hive. This place ain't my own, but it feels like home, 'cause we all help. Yeah, we all help to keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive.
You're listening to That Great Manc Pod, Greater Manchester's community podcast. Top one, our kid.
Search for your soul. Still haven't found the goal. You could fill my heart's empty hole. You're leaving me here stone cold. I want you by my side, 'cause when I think of you, it's such a gorgeous sight. Still on the search for your soul. Still haven't found the goal. You could fill my heart's empty hole. Whoa. You're leaving me here stone cold. strange. It's driving me insane. Your soul could fill that hole. My heart can be rearranged. Still on the search for your soul. I still haven't found the goal. You could fill my heart's empty hole. Oh, you're leaving me here, stone cold.